Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Hi everyone. Hey. Now, this is when a gimbal has to be a stabilizer. Can you hear me at all? I don't want to put in my headphones. Hey Ruth, good morning. Hi everyone. As this is the largest city in the world with no road access, and everybody functions on motor taxis. Hey honey, hi Michelle. I felt I had to do one. Sayuri. Hola, buenos dias. So I felt I had to. So it's fun to share this. I'm going to a very specific place. Don't worry if you have trouble hearing me. I didn't want to put in my headphones because it'll just suck in the noise everywhere around. So it's so last day down here in the tropics, everyone. Nice to have you all here. Hi, Aaron. So let me just give you a quick sense of where we are. So I am with Zach. There's Zach driving our Moto-taxi. Hey, Marlene. There's what the buses look like. So here we are. We're heading east in Iquitos, and there's this huge bridge. Hi, Diane. Hey, Lori. So what I'd like to try and do is take you up far enough to give you a view of the actual Amazon River. Now, I don't know if my YouTube video charged up yesterday, but look at all the motor taxis coming down. So this is the economy here. This is transport. Again, it's 3 to 4 days to a little town outside of Tarapoto, up the river to the east. It's great. It's great Wi-Fi. And then if you go the other way, they say a fast boat can be 24 hours, but otherwise it's like 3 days to the border with Colombia. What's that, Ken, when you were there? Ken, it's a sunny, clear day. You look, I'm quite tan, but actually it's like 28 degrees and 95% humidity. Hey, Juliana, hey, I hope you're feeling better, by the way. Everyone, Juliana, our wonderful guy from over in Germany wasn't feeling that well, so it's nice to see you. Hi, Catherine. So, the heat is actually very bearable. These are all, look at the roads. So yesterday I was out all day in the Amazon. I only give the tour, I have to admit, kind of 6 out of 10. Because I went to theoretically an indigenous village, but really it was quite a hard sales thing. And then, check this out. This is what the roads are like. And I saw one large animal jump out of the river, but I didn't actually see the river dolphin. So it's a little bit of a letdown from that point of view. But oh well. Hey, Chloe, good morning. So this is all military bases down here, naval bases. In fact, this is the school. Hey, Susie. This is the school for the kids of naval, members of the Navy. Which Marines, I guess you call them. So you got in the Seattle, and there you are. Liceo Naval. So it's lovely to have everyone here with me. So again, this area kind of breaks down. I'm heading up to the river Nanay. Now Nanay is the river that flows into the Amazon here. It's really the reason why Iquitos is exactly here. Now feel free to scan out on your maps and you'll get a sense, because you will see. Someone the other day said to me, hi Sheila, someone said, oh, there is a road. Yeah, it goes about 20 kilometers. There's actually a hospital down in there too. Now, there's been a lot of news on here because of the coup, of course. Oh, cool, Marty. So here we are. It's like ready, set, go, driving down the roads. So I negotiated the Moto-taxi for about 40 minutes today. At obviously a tourist price, but a fair price. But this fellow, if he's really as fun as he seems, what he doesn't realize is he's going to get halfway tips as well. So that'll be a nice little bonus for him. So there's the neighbors. What is that? Those, by the way, are the vultures that just seem to always be circling over my head. I don't really know why. But check this out. So this is all informal sort of market stuff here. So very, very typical of this part of the world. So we're going to Iquitos here, and then Manaus. in Brazil are the two big cities along the Amazon. Again, I was talking about it the other day, but of course the Amazon basin, this massive area, I call it, we're about 2,000 kilometers from the Atlantic Ocean here. But this is the drainage of the mountains in Colombia, Ecuador, Peru, and Bolivia. I mean, it's just incredible ecosystem. Hi, Nancy. In fact, I was looking at the map myself because I'm a bit of a map junkie anyway. And I was looking at the map myself, and I'm actually not that far from the border with Ecuador to the north. And you get up, and of course, the city of Cuenca, Steffi's done tours there, is one of my very, very favorite places in all of South America. Although to get there from here would be virtually impossible. So a whole different job. Yesterday on the river, it was on average about a mile and a quarter, about 2 kilometers wide, the palm trees. We did miss just before I signed on. I was passing where all the bananas were being harvested, which is pretty cool. Hola, Beatriz. So it's pretty neat. But here's all very, very typical informal markets here. By the way, an interesting reflection though on people here is they almost universally have such gorgeous skin, and that's because of course this lovely high humidity, and they protect themselves from the sun. Whereas of course I'm a typical foreigner. No, Diane, great question. So generally, yesterday I was at the port, and to get back to the hotel, which was about 12 minutes, cost me 8 sols. That's about $2.20 American. So when I said to this fellow I wanted to go up to the bridge and try and show you the Amazon and come back, then he obviously inflated the price off. So what we negotiated was 30 sols. So that's about 12 Canadian dollars. But as I say, as long as he comes through for me and doesn't try to negotiate, then I'm going to split my tips from anyway. But here is very typical market food areas. Now, I just got up. I think it's Julia. I just got up and fish. See all the fish up there? And remember, there's so many boats in the river, but because it's not salt water, it is a lot more manageable, right? And obviously you don't have to deal with the motors, the engines the same way as you do when you're out in the salt. So that's a bit of a different world altogether. But this is the port of Nanai. Now when I was going to do the sunset the other night, now in the end I went to the top of the building, I think it went really well, but I wanted to do it out here, and then I was told emphatically, don't go out there by yourself with a camera and a gimbal. But this is the famous bridge. So this is what my friend is bringing me out here to show you. So here we are heading now into the Amazon itself. So I'll be able to show you what it looks like out here. So look at this massive bridge. Esto fue construido en qué año? El puente es completamente nuevo. So the bridge is just new down. Thanks, Becca. So this is why. See, here's the port. There's all the houses out on the stilts, and that's the Nanai River. Yeah, totally different thing. So that's why, and this is. I didn't get a lot of information on it yesterday, but it's where everything is changing a lot, because this bridge is sort of going to nowhere, but there's a big naval base, but there is. Sí, paramos acá, derecho un momento, les explico un poco del Amazonas. Perfecto, gracias. All right, everyone, I'm just going to hop out for a second here. There we are. So first of all, we'll say hi to Zach. Hola a todos. Mira, me están preguntando, chateando ahí. Están vivo, perfecto, ¿eh? So here we are, everyone. Look at this bridge. So there's a sports club that's being built, and this is a new market. But there, ladies and gentlemen, sí, son los tres ríos. Italia, Amazon, y Río Nanay. So here's the Nanay flowing in here, everyone. There's the Amazon itself in the distance, and the Tatay is the little one that's out on the other side of town. So there is the famous. Are you all hearing me fine? Because my reception is really bouncing around here. Hey, Patty. So, but that is, of course, the world famous. Great, I'm glad you're hearing me, everyone. There is the Amazon itself. So we headed out from the port yesterday, straight into that water. It was about a half hour faster going downstream than when we turned around and came back up. But you'll see down in the water, you'll see one of the boats coming through. Very, very typical of how the boats are, these long, thin boats. And they have these really interesting, very long motors. It is, Helen. Isn't it fantastic? Look at that. But they have these very long motors off the back. The reason for that is, of course, they're always dealing with everything. There's so much vegetable matter floating in. I'm not talking about pollution, just trees and everything coming down. So the ability to have to move them around and negotiate them. Thanks, TNJ. Also, I don't think I'll be able to show you here, but there were a couple of the luxury cruise boats out there as well. Now, they're waiting for the waters to come up a bit. That looks like a naval boat out there coming in right now. I would think so. But that's isn't it fun? Now, have a look, though. This whole area is going to start to flood because we're now entering into the rainy season. And they want the rainy season, right? There's been a real drought here in Peru and Bolivia particularly. I'm going to put a post up, by the way. There's a film that's been made, thanks, Gail, that a really dear friend of mine, David, the guy I stay with in London always, sent me about the effects of climate change in southern Bolivia and just how harsh it is. But look at all these houses on their stilts, right? So this allows for all this flooding to move in. So when I came here 18 years ago, thanks, Holly, or something like that, I arrived to the airport with a group. We went straight where I did the tour the other day and got on the boats, but the river has shifted since then. And so the river has moved. So that's why this whole port area has now developed. Now you can see I didn't wear my hat now. The sun is warm because the last few days have been overcast, but now it's really warm. It is amazing, though, the infrastructure. And we look out the distance. So there's Iquitos in the distance, the largest city in the world with no road access. And there's all those vultures circling around, keeping their eyes on us. Y oye, el puente sigue hasta dónde, entonces?
Hasta el final. Sí. Donde ves allá termina un puente, todavía están comenzando a terminar la carretera que vaya al puerto más allá va a la frontera de Colombia.
A largo plazo, ¿en cuántos años?
Por lo menos 5 años.
5 años, como el aeropuerto en Cusco. So what the gentleman, sure I can zoom, of course. Is saying that the long plan is to put this road all the way to the border of Colombia, which is Leticia. But that is, that is a massive thing. They're saying 5 years.
No, no es Leticia.
No.
No es Leticia.
Oh,
es Colombia va a estar en Alto Amazonas. Va a estar por la frontera de Huepí.
Huepí. ¿Y hay carretera del otro lado?
Sí, va a haber carretera.
Oh, okay, so he's going to another bridge that's over in Huepí, said in Colombia, not Leticia. Yeah, I will, Holly. Yeah. And let's go around here. Let's give you a zoom out. Now, the zoom and everything's not going to work that well, honestly, because it is so hot here. Yeah, of course, Paula. So first of all, I don't know if you're seeing the vultures up there, but then there's the city in the distance. But we're going to turn around and go right back to the plaza, the central square. But I wanted to come and show you as best I could. But what a huge project to try and connect the Amazon here. Oh boy, I'm getting sweaty now already. And that's okay. So I'm flying at 12:45 local time back up to Lima. And I'll probably have to sit in the airport and watch that football match, the England-France one, hey? Although we're all cheering. You're very welcome, Holly. I don't know if it turned out very well. But have a look, little soccer field out here. Look at the stilts there. By the way, we were all on the boat getting intermittent reception yesterday with that game with Argentina. Everyone here is cheering for Argentina. Well, for anything South America. Hey, Michelle, yeah, I'm cheering for Morocco now, absolutely. You're welcome, Paul. Isn't it just fascinating to see? Now, yesterday, I do want to tell you one just side story, though, because I did this excursion out on the river, right? So we went up into a small river around back, an indigenous village. Again, that was a little bit contrived, but then went up this river. But there was a gentleman on the tour who was the loveliest man, but he had fairly serious cerebral palsy, right? He was born with it, but a local. He's from the north of Peru. And so I spent the day with him, just partly because he was such a lovely fellow. But oh my goodness me, was that not made for someone. And it was a good conversation to have because he's from the north of Peru, but he now lives down in Lima, in Miraflores. And he said I had to, because otherwise he just didn't have access to anything. And those are some of the challenges you think about if you're born with any kind of challenge. Thanks, Jennifer. And anyway, just a lovely, lovely gentleman. And in fact, I'm having dinner tonight at a really neat fusion restaurant in Lima. And he works for that organization, so it was neat to see that. But boy, oh boy, had this been rainy season, I don't think he could have been able to walk through. So, interesting. And it's also just always gives us pause to step back and think about, how easy life is for some of us and how much of a challenge it can be for other people. But that is, thanks, Helen. So much reality. Check out this bridge. So tell you what, because I really think the signal, I was testing it yesterday, the signal does bounce around here. So I think we'll probably turn around and head back into town. I just want to give you a little zoom now on one of these other boats. See, that's the very, very typical boat. And I don't know, we won't really see the motor. When we were coming back yesterday, the guy who was driving it though kept bailing water out. And it's funny because I would love to go for a swim, but it's very, very murky, of course, because, of course, biggest river in the world. And there are anacondas in here, right? I have once seen one. I saw one in Madre Dios province, which is down to the south. That's where Puerto Maldonado. It's the other place where you go to the Peruvian Amazon. So it's pretty cool. And piranhas. Yeah, you know what, Chloe? So they keep trying to sell me these piranhas, but I can't take them across the border. And they, but yeah, I fished for piranhas before, and they're small, but yeah, mean little teeth in them. They're pretty amazing to see. But so anyway, there's the Nanai coming in. So we're at this point of these three rivers coming together. Thank you very much. Hey, Chandra, nice to see you. Hey, yes. Hey, Chandra, think of you in Bali. This is probably one of the few times I'm in a place that's as hot as where you are. So I'm going back to Lima today. I believe that Vanessa has put up a tour tomorrow afternoon in Lima. And after Finn. Now, Finn has a really big tour, International Mountain Day tomorrow. Hélène, bonjour. So please spread the word about that. And then I'll do one with Vanessa. And then I'm going to do another little just travel in Peru talk before I go out to the airport, because my flight's 3:30 in the morning. So there we are. Well, I tell you what, everyone. So for those of you who are just seeing, so there is the Amazon. This is truly, truly the Amazon. I wish Mark were here. He wanted to see it. So there is the true Amazon River right out there where the two rivers come together. But I mean, this gigantic network. So I think what we'll do is hop back into the Moto-taxi. It'll get super noisy. But has everyone got all the photos they want out here right now? Because, say, once we'll head back in, show you a little bit of the market. All right, as long as you've seen it, because I'm starting to cook. Bueno, damos vuelta, vamos a la plaza. ¿Está bien? Perfecto. Gracias. Eso, espectacular. Para que vean la maison. All right, so back to the noise. But what an incredible bridge. And now I get why I didn't remember this bridge, because it's brand new. So again, reception's kind of bouncing. Yeah, you can see me back here. Reception's kind of bouncing around a little bit, everyone. So there's some more of the houses in the floodplains. I'm not going to try and zoom because I'm bouncing around so much that I'm more than likely to end up dropping the phone. But, so here's the port of Nanai. Hey, salut. So isn't it a neat thing? And then there we are. And I like the big sign up there that says "No botar basura." Don't throw trash. Don't throw garbage. Now remember, this city became extremely important in 1880 to 1914, which was the rubber industry. Last night I did sit down. Thanks, Margaret. Sat down at the Iron House, and it was funny because I had been there years and years ago. And so then I sat down and I had to read about it, because there's this rumor that it was designed by Gustav Eiffel, and it wasn't. But it was, they say, the first prefabricated house in all of South America. The iron was forged in Belgium, brought down here and carried through the jungle. Isn't that amazing? By the way, some of you saw on my Toomey Travel Facebook, I put up a picture of bugs yesterday. And the bugs are full of nutrition and it's sustainable food. But here, for all you vegetarians and vegans, look at all the great food. And you do remember, hey Julianne, you remember Beethoven's favorite fruit? Do you? Banana, banana. So we were eating, whoops, I guess we're going to move over for this one. but we were eating bananas way, way, way high up in altitude because of potassium that helps. Oh, she's doing some morning cooking. Now, one of the highlights, and actually, I think, Maureen, for all my Canadian friends on board, I have this terrible, deep embarrassment as a Canadian in tourism for the breakfast people get in hotels in Canada. You know, the kind of microwaved eggs and everything. Because, of course, we're a breakfast culture, too. But down here, even if I'm not hungry at all, I wake up excited to go for breakfast because of the fresh juices. And they're all no sugar added. There you have some, I guess, mangoes and some limes. You know, and it's just beautiful food and healthy. I love these buses doing these turns in the roads. There are actually... So, follow the bridge. the bridge eventually, it's a 5-year plan, is to connect to a bridge that's in Colombia. Now, Zach corrected me. I thought it was Letizia, which is so far away, but it isn't. There's another place in higher up part of Colombia. So that's what the road's heading to. And so there will be road access. So this province that I'm in, Loreto, is the biggest province in all of Peru. And of course, everyone thinks of Peru and Bolivia, of course, as the highlands. You know, Cusco, Puno, Ayacucho, Cajamarca, everything like that. And you should think of it that way. But down here is actually the biggest area of Peru. 13% of what we call the Amazon, thanks, man. 13% of what we call the Amazon is actually in Peru, and then of course the rest right up through Brazil. But there's a huge drainage system out of Ecuador and out of Bolivia as well. And in fact, the famous tin house was actually a Bolivian business person who owned it. That was their first kind of jungle boom of the economy, and again, that was the rubber boom. Do you know, to this day, even though I've traveled so extensively in Bolivia, I've never been further down than Coraico. So I've only been in the high. You're very welcome, Paula. No, it's just fascinating. It'll be interesting to see if it happens, because already with Zach here, I already told the joke. Like, they've been planning a new airport in Cusco for as long as I've been alive. So we'll see. I mean, building that whole bridge is good. Now look at the garbage. This is one of the realities. And the dogs. I mean, that is just one of the shocking realities in this part of the world. Now, I say that, and it's worth pointing out, but remember, my footprint as a Canadian is way bigger than any person here, right? It's just there's a public health factor with that much garbage around. It is sad to see, Diana, and it is ubiquitous. The city of Juliaca, further up in Peru, up near Puno, is just screwed with it. And of course, plastic doesn't decompose, as we all know. And this is the part of the world where you should be able to have everything decompose, because it's just the nature of it. But it is a tough conversation to have. But again, I always like to. Hard to hear. Oh, I know, Holly. I figured it'd be very hard to hear on the Moto-taxi. But if I put my headphones in, all they're going to do is pick up the noise around me. So, and that's why, but I did want, it's because we stopped for a second, Holly. I just wanted to give you one sense of what it's like traveling around here. I'm going to go back to the room, have a shower, back up, and then head out to the airport. And hopefully there's a TV in the airport so I can watch the soccer. Because, of course, once every 4 years, I have to pretend that I care about soccer. But again, all of these vehicles, everything here gets brought in on barges, right? So that's the system here. And oh, you're welcome, Lyndon. I was a little worried for you because I know sometimes the movement can be hard, but I'm so glad you're here, because it's Mary Beth made a comment the other day that she wouldn't have even thought of this as a bucket list place, but these are these places you read about. Like, this is classic Trivial Pursuit questions. What's the largest city with no road access? And people would rack their brains. Well, it's here in Peru, right? Hey, my other favorite Trivial Pursuit question, which is going to be sometime 20 years from now, they're going to say, in what year were the 2020 Japan Olympics held? Because remember, it was 2021 with the pandemic. That's going to be the best question. Well, that guy is making a big splash. By the way, I still have one reasonably clean shirt. I may be investing in a t-shirt for flying home. I just did carry on here. I only brought two kind of nicer shirts, which I basically wore for dinner with friends. And I've got the long pants on today because I was going out by the port. There are really, really high rates of malaria here. Now, the rainy season hasn't started, and I'm very happy to tell you that I came back yesterday with no bites on my body at all. So, pretty happy about that. So, watching the time. Oh, good, 23. I want to just get up to the central square one more time to show it to everyone. Now, it'll be fun to get home. You did see I put up a ski tour just because I'm gonna get home. My flight is, well, it's not actually tomorrow. It's the next day, but at 3:30 in the morning. So I'll go out to the airport, hang out, and then I fly up to Montreal, 8.5 hours, and then it's about 4.5 home to Calgary. But then, I'll go skiing on the 14th, and then believe it or not, on the 15th, we're flying out to Vancouver Island. So here's a lot of politics. I have been putting the news on in the room because, of course, now the ex-president, who was just arrested the other day, absolutely. Indonesia, yeah. It looks like they're like tuk-tuks. Just finished with the president. He's now pretending, or his lawyer is saying that he didn't know what he was reading the other day when he declared a coup, an overthrowing of the government. So when you go up to the highlands, so when you're up in Puno and Huluaka, you see the tuk-tuks exactly like in India and in Thailand and Indonesia. These ones, of course, are open. I was looking in the shop. If I wanted to buy a motorcycle here, it would cost me in US dollars about $4,000. Yeah, there was a coup just the other day, Eileen. I was in Lima. I was actually having lunch with a friend who's not on Hago, but is a guide, who was leaving to do a big hike. And then she said, oh my God, there's a coup going on. So we sat and watched it. And the president, or the former president, was actually from Cajamarca, which is not that far from here, sort of tried to overthrow the government. The government revolted against him. Again, I want to take more of a neutral position because I want to believe in democracy. The only upside that I can see so far is Peru now has a woman president, which is pretty exciting. Although for my Peruvian friends on board, I think it is fair to acknowledge that generally speaking, if you are president of Peru, it usually means you're one step away from going to jail. But you see, I mean, the last time I was here was 2019, and I was stuck at the border of Bolivia because there was a coup there too. So it has nothing to do with me, honestly. I mean, don't worry, I'm involved with overthrowing governments, just not here. Oh, look at the lovely pollution coming out. Yeah. I've mostly got my target set on Daniel Smith in Alberta right now, so here, I'll give you a reverse view, everyone. Yeah, there's everybody. Oh, that combustion could have wrong. Check out the guy's tires. But I do. You know what? The other thing about when you come down to these tropical places, though, is everyone is just so friendly. Now, they are obviously trying to sell things, and that's fair enough. You have to earn a living. But there's this kind of warmth and friendliness. And, the other night when I did the sunset tour up at the top of that bar, so I was walking past it last night, and the guy who had been on the screen, security guy, came literally across the street and shook my hand, and I hope you had a really lovely day. Isn't that nice? Helen, that is a good question. If there's a speed limit, just like red lights, they're kind of a suggestion. See the truck? Inca Cola, everyone. It's one of the few countries in the world that has its own popular cola. Even when, when Renan drove me to the airport the other morning, we drove through like 3 or 4 red lights because there was nobody there. So, that's kind of part of the gig. So listen, hang on long enough, everyone, for me to just get you a view of the plaza, and then I'll say farewell. I do want to. I gotta thank my friend here. It's been lovely and helpful, and it's a nice day for him. And as I say, once I finish this, I'm gonna surprise him and split my tips with him, which will make for a really nice day for him too. Basically, minimum wage here is about $310 a month. Down here in the Amazon, the economy is picking up again, but there is some there is some fairly intense poverty down here. Again, people have been so kind. But for example, I was walking along. You remember on the tour the other day, and someone said, "Oh, don't walk any further with your gimbal and your camera." And same thing with the area around Belém, which is one of the biggest outdoor markets in the world. But here's let me show you the bananas. Oh, there they go. There. Oh, sorry. Sorry, I'm bouncing around so much that There's bananas out there. Exciting. That's the old song from Evita, wasn't it? Sali banana marche misericordiera. Vita vos genuit vis postra. There we are. Intersection, everyone. By the way, Vanessa does a tour, Don't Drive Here, and I did talk to Raynan about doing a driving tour in La Paz, just to have that event. Look at all the mangoes, more bananas or platanos, and also, so I keep eating granadillas. Oh, here we go. If you wanted to buy a Yamaha motor, this is your place for it. So everyone, I have hit time, but I'll keep the stream going. Yeah, no kidding, Denise. But it is chaos. Yeah, but this kind of chaos is interesting. Again, when you read about this particular city, because again, it's 85% motorcycles. It's this buzz everywhere. You're welcome, Natalie. But saying here's people all having their breakfast and their lunch. The first thing when you have a kitchen in Peru, the first thing you buy is your licuado, what do you call it? Like mixer, blender, and that's to make your juices, right? Thanks, Tessa. Oops, just got one little bug on my neck. But these, oh, look at this. I think those are oranges, actually. But yeah, I think we should do a series of competitions between like Vanessa and Lima and Leslie when she goes up to Cairo about traffic. But of course, I'll do a winter driving one at home, which is, of course, delivering fresh juices. That's sandia, that's watermelon, and it's you can eat so well. There we are. We're just about up at the plaza, everyone. So listen, I want to thank everyone for coming along and joining me this morning. I really wanted to put one up. Look at those watermelons. Look at that. It is, and I know some people struggle with the movement. So this is the monumental section now of the center here. You're welcome, Holly. Thanks, Catherine. It's really fun. It's fun to share this. I love the murals. It's are they taxi? ¿Tienes gasolina o diesel? 84. Yeah, and then it's gasoline, but it's just 84, so the gas is cheaper here than it is. So 84%. Good question. You can see. So the 84 is 13 sols for a gallon. They actually sell it by the gallon. So that would be in our money, Helen. That'd be about $4.50 Canadian. Thanks, Patty. Patty, I hope you're having some lovely weather up there. I'm going home apparently to just like -10 and sunshine. This lovely building here. So we're back in town. There you go. There were these huge barges out in the river. You're welcome, Molly. Huge barges out in the river that obviously are moving, I think, natural gas. And they had big signs on them. No smoking. Isn't it fun? Oh, yeah, I heard it was cold in Ireland. But the big difference, and it's so funny, because when I talk to people, particularly in jungly places here, and you say you're from Canada, the only thing they know about it is that it's cold. But I often explain, like, I was colder living in Cusco because it was adobe, whereas here, or where I live at home, we have no choice. My house is always 21 degrees upstairs and 19 degrees downstairs, but that's because we would actually die. So here we're coming up to the main plaza of Iquitos, right here, ladies and gentlemen. There's the iron building over on the other side. Bueno, no, toma una foto. Sí, si puedes parar solo aquí un momento, yo tomo una foto y termino la emisión. De ahí. Gracias. There we are, everyone. So I'll give you one quick photo of the sign. It says Iquitos right here. There it is. Estoy saliendo hoy. Gracias. Okay. Bueno, digamos un gracias a Zach Gracias, amigo. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, there's the famous church, 1919. Listen, lots of love to everyone. Peace and love. Thanks for coming and hanging out. I'm going to go shower up and head for the airport. Hasta pronto a todos. Un abrazo. Bye.